Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate to Hate podcast. I am Wilk from wilksworld.com, and this is going to be episode 38 of the D-Rate to Hate podcast. And tonight I come to you, honestly, I'm coming to you with a very heavy heart tonight because there's a lot of stuff going on right now that cannot be ignored. I've said it before, I do not want this podcast to be about politics. God knows there's enough shows out there about politics, and you know, the vast majority of them are on one side or the other, and they really don't. A lot of times they're just echo chambers and talking about the same stuff over and over, and that's fine, but that's not what I want this to be. I want this podcast to be about bringing people together, and what we're seeing today is not anything about, you know, bringing people together. So, again, it's something that I can't ignore. I want to talk about it a little bit tonight. So this show is going to be about that. But I do want to say first, what have you done today to make your life a better life? What have you done today to make the world a better place? Because right now, what we need is you out there, each and every one of you, doing something today and every day to make your life a better life. Because in turn, that's going to make the world a better place. Now getting, you know, to the topic at hand, I was going to talk about a lot of different things. In fact, I'm going to bring it up because it does play a bit into what I'm talking about tonight. But the things that are taking place today in the nation's capital and in our country in general are just absurd. There's no two ways about it, and we have to figure out a way that we can get across this great divide. Let's just put it that way. Right now we are maybe as divided as a country as we have been since the Civil War. There's no lie about it, and that divide is very much perpetuated. And I've talked about it before, but that divide is very much perpetuated, by the those in the media and those heavily involved in politics. There's no question about it. It can't be ignored, and that's there are evil forces afoot that have a vested interest in keeping people mad, keeping people scared, keeping people divided. And it's leading to some very, very awful results. And quite honestly, there's going to be people out there that don't like to hear this and don't want to hear this. But the reality is, if you blame it on one side or the other, and you think it's completely a one-sided issue, you're an idiot. More specifically, if you blame it on one person specifically, and think that this is all the fault of one person, you're a colossal idiot. And I don't want to say that, but it has to be said because there are way too many people out there right now. I posted something earlier. Those who want to remain deaf will not hear. Those who want to remain blind will not see. And quite honestly, we have a very, very serious issue right now amongst people that they do live in these echo chambers. Like I said, the most of your political talk shows now are very, very one-sided, very super biased, and it used to just be the political commentary shows. Those that were very upfront and honest about their political leanings. But now it's most of your news stations or so-called news stations. They're no longer news stations. They're very much, editorial nightmares of hate and misinformation and division. And it's leading up to what we're seeing today in the nation's capital. Now, I do have to say that I am very much on one side, of the political spectrum versus the other. I'm not going to lie about that. And what I've seen today is an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment, but I do not believe I do not believe that everything we're seeing is truly as it appears. I just don't. I think if you look at the preponderance of evidence of everything that the media has done over the past several years, you have to, if you're going to look at it objectively and be any sort of intellectually honest, you have to look at what we have seen and realize that things are selectively edited and things are done to make certain people look as bad as they can possibly look. And there are also, like I said, there are evil forces afoot. There are people out there right now, and there's a lot of evidence that shows that people who have no affiliation at all with our current president and his supporters are doing things to try and stir the pot, cause trouble, and make things far worse than they actually are. So just keep that in mind and try to start looking at things through an objective lens. Try to start stepping back and don't live within such an echo chamber that you refuse to listen to the other side. Don't live in such an echo chamber that you cannot at least give some credence to those whom with you those with whom you disagree, because there's a lot more going on than any of us. I truly believe there's a lot more out there going on than any of us truly believe, and our country is in serious trouble. Our country is in serious trouble right now because there are people who want our country in serious trouble, and I truly believe that our country was devised through divine intervention, and I honestly believe at this point the only thing that's going to save us is divine intervention. And you can take that for what it's worth, and I'm sure I've got people out there that don't believe the same way I do. Well, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there that don't believe the way that I do, and whether it be my religious faith, whether it be my political affiliation, whether it be how I raise my family, but that is why I'm here doing what I do. I don't live in an echo chamber. I listen to all sides. I try to put myself in everybody's shoes and try to get all sides of the story before I make my decisions. And when I do that, I feel that I make a better and more objective decision and a better and more come to a better and more objective opinion on things. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. I've been on the right side of the political spectrum for the vast majority of, well, quite honestly, for the whole time that I've been following politics, and I didn't start following politics till somewhere around 9/11, 2001, when we obviously know what happened on 9/11, 2001. The hatred and the bias in the media and just the all around venomous bile spewed towards our president at the time, George Bush, just put such a sour and nasty taste in my mouth that I couldn't. I knew that I could never identify with those whom were spewing that stuff. And so what I've done over the past several years is I didn't just live in those echo chambers on the right and listen to nothing but what the right had to say. I spent the majority of my time listening to what the left had to say. And quite honestly, it's all that hatred that has been spewed from the left over the past couple decades that pretty much led me to where I am and who I am. Like I said, I will never blame and cannot blame everything that we see on any party, whether it be the left or the right, or any political affiliation, whether it be the left or the right. I blame the vast majority of what we are facing as a nation right now on politics in general, our political system, and the media. The media, and now, more recently, big tech and their censorship of, things with which they disagree. So what we have to do, again, is get back to the concept of individuality, being good people, each of us as an individual being a good person. We have to realize that there are generally two sides to every story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And just settle down with the echo chambers of hate. We got to drown out that noise. I've talked about it a lot of times in a lot of these episodes. Drowned out that noise, because that noise is going to kill us. That noise is going to kill us. So, we are in a lot of pain. As a nation, we are in a lot of pain. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and it's going to take something very, very special to make that happen. I said it a few minutes ago, and I'll say it again. I believe this country was devised out of divine intervention. There's no question about it in my mind. I believe God had a huge hand in building this nation, and we live in the greatest and most generous nation on the planet. There should be very little question about that in anybody's mind, though there are many who would try to make that into a false statement. But divine intervention is what divides this country, and the only thing that's going to save it is divine intervention. So, just realize it's going to take a better you to make a better world. It's going to take a better you, and a better you is going to take you doing something to better your life today. And that means drowning out all this hate, drowning out all this pain, and doing something good. And generally, it's not going to involve politics. It's going to involve you, and you doing something good for your family, for your neighbor, for your town, for your state. But it's not the politics. It's not the politicians. It's going to be you that makes this thing come around. And I hope you do it. I really, really hope you do it. So with that, I'm going to jump into this week's feel-good story. That's enough about the pain. This week's feel-good story is kind of a neat story I read about earlier in the week about a man named Howard Kirby out of Ovid, Michigan. I guess it was probably about a year ago. Based on the article, it was about a year ago. He had bought a couch from a thrift store, and a family member had noticed that one of the couch cushions on that couch was extraordinarily hard. And so after digging a little deeper, literally into the couch, they find that the couch cushion was actually full of cash. So they pondered on what they needed to do, prayed about it a bit, and Mr. Kirby decided that even after he talked to an attorney, or an attorney somehow, I don't know, got wind of the story and said he was all legally right to keep the cash, $43,000 worth of cash they found in this couch cushion, which was legally he was not obligated to give it back to anybody. But instead, he chose to track down the original owner, and come to find out that an uncle or the grandfather or somebody in that family had been stashing that cash in that couch, unbeknownst to the family that donated that to the thrift store. So he gave that cash back, and it's obviously he's been through hard times, and he's known what it was like to be on hard times, and I mean, even at some point in the past year, he had to give up a kidney, had a kidney removed, and had some other health issues, and you know what? Good things have followed. Good things have followed because he gave that money back, and karma has been a sweet partner for Mr. Kirby since he gave that money back. It's a beautiful story. As I say all the time, I love it when ordinary people do extraordinary things, and Mr. Kirby is certainly an extraordinary man in the sense that he found $43,000 cash that was legally, by rights, all his, and he chose to give it back to somebody who didn't even know that they lost it. So that's an incredible story. That's an incredible man. I will put a link to that story in the show notes. If you want to check it out at www.deratethehate.com and check out episode 38. It's going to be in the show notes. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this week. I'm going to say, what have you done today to make the world a better place? It all starts with you making your life a better life. So get out there, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember, it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. So from all of it here at Wilkes World, I just want to express a very heartfelt thank you. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Look for us. Check out our website. If you want to support the show in some way, check out our affiliates page, www.deratethehate.com/affiliates, and you can buy some stuff on there. And then that helps out the show at no extra cost to you. And with that, I'm going to say have a great week, and I'm going to back on out of here. We'll catch you next week.